This is the first time that I am ever exposed to the public. You can meet her at this time, at this location.
Yeah.
This is how people get murdered.
And it's so hard to see what you have become. So yeah, I get mad, I get frustrated, I get angry because I know that that's not you. Where's the person that came to visit me when we had an argument and I told you don't come, and then you showed up anyway?
Just when you thought the Gypsy Rose saga couldn't get any darker, boom, it does. Because her ex-husband, Ryan Anderson, has released jaw-dropping footage and disturbing screenshots that suggest Gypsy wasn't just spiraling, she was actively trying to harm him. Yeah, seriously. What first looks like a casual couple fight also reveals who Gypsy really is when the cameras are off. And this is super disturbing, just as it is calculated. If you thought prison changed her, think again, because what we're seeing now is Gypsy at her most unhinged yet. Let's get right into it.
Gypsy unalived her mother on the same day that her grandmother passed away. Gypsy also had her daughter on the same day that she was released from prison 1 year later. Gypsy also claims that she saw the sonogram for her daughter on the same day of her mother's death. Gypsy also claims that she left Ryan on the same day that her father left her mother. Gypsy also claims that she will be getting off of parole on the same day that Mia is having her birthday. Narcissists and sociopaths intentionally align significant events with dates tied to trauma, loss, or emotionally loaded memories. They're being very calculated. This is not a coincidence.
And I'm just sorry.
So the internet's former sympathy case has now flipped into a full-blown menace, and the receipts prove that her ex-husband has been her new victim all the while. And for those who have been defending her, stick around to the end and tell me if you still have room for doubt that Gypsy is not in fact healed. She is hiding in plain sight and she is dangerous. The footage that Ryan exposed, which has since gone viral, allegedly shows Gypsy in a volatile, terrifying state, actively trying to harm Ryan. Y'all, I am not even exaggerating. This is a woman who served time for orchestrating her own mother's brutal demise. And now, barely free, she's acting like she is above the law. By the way, this incident happened while they were still together, so it was literally months since her release after 8 years in prison. It is even worse that Gypsy was actually on parole. The fact that she thought she could behave like this and still play the victim to the public is not only manipulative, but chilling as well. And oh yeah, she later dropped a video, which we'll also get into, where she publicly addresses Ryan instead of sending him a private DM. But why would she keep things private when she needs public sympathy?
That seeing that text message that you released, for what? For what? Because you wanted to show that you are the truth teller on TikTok?
What's worse is that Gypsy also worked overtime in exposing herself, as she has been unraveling on TikTok, sharing each post more erratic and unsettling than the last. What started as an awkward oversharing has now transformed into full-blown delusion. And when she senses her ground shifting, she's guilt-tripping her followers and blames it all on being a trauma survivor. But before we get into the disturbing footage in question, can we quickly talk about Gypsy Rose as an influencer real quick? Because something in her account is extremely unsettling. She has 3 items in her TikTok shop, one of which is a mug shaped like a gun. Yes, a gun from a convicted killer. That is not quirky, it's disgusting, tone deaf, and a slap in the face to anyone who once believed that she had changed. And then she's really been trying to push a narrative that her life might be in danger. Let's talk about the irony here. Gypsy, the same woman who claims she fears for her life, has been going live, broadcasting her exact location to millions of followers. She says she's scared someone might hurt her, but simultaneously invites danger by sharing every move. Like the time that she was attending Jazz Fest, Gypsy posted in real time and even asked her fans to come over.
So it's Jazz Fest Day 2, and I am not wearing a wig. I was trying to go incognito yesterday, and it didn't work out so much, so I ditched the wig. Are you excited?
So excited.
So what is it? fear or attention? Because you don't fear for your safety while standing in the middle of a digital spotlight screaming, "Here I am!" The truth is, Gypsy doesn't fear harm, she fears being irrelevant. Meanwhile, she continues to push a sanitized, victim-centric version of herself on Lifetime's Life After Lockup reality show, carefully scripted and edited to make her look like a fragile soul finding her way. But behind the scenes, the real Gypsy is clawing through the cracks. From what Ryan exposed, she's been texting him relentlessly, and not just harmless "how are you" texts. These were controlling, obsessive messages, including some sent just weeks after giving birth to her new baby with her new partner. At 2 a.m. postpartum, rocking a newborn, married, and yet she's still asking Ryan about his love life. Like this conversation between them that Ryan exposed where she was asking him if he's with Amber J. Girl, what? You're on TV kissing with your new man, talking about how you always loved him even when you were with Ryan? Gypsy literally once said Ryan was just a rebound, but now she's back in his DMs asking if he's with someone? Gypsy, pick a side. You got your man, but you still want to play games with your ex? She then proceeds to tell Ryan that she feels lost and doesn't know what she wants anymore. So basically she has turned him into her emotional dumping bag. And then she turns around in public and disses Ryan for refusing to move on, yet she's the one clearly obsessed and unstable. You see, for a very long time, Gypsy controlled the narrative and people genuinely believed Ryan was the one in the wrong because Gypsy would share messages like this and say Ryan was still so obsessed with her and would even text her dad and that he needed to move on. But as you can see, Ryan only reached out to Gypsy's dad when he ran out of options as Gypsy was busy trashing him publicly. He still chose to address things privately and legally, as he stated on that text where he was asking him to tell Gypsy to take down some character assassinating post that she had made about him. And don't get it twisted, Gypsy knows exactly what she's doing. She's scared Ryan is gonna spill what really went down between them, so now she's wilding out trying to silence him. Gypsy is so manipulative, you'd literally miss it, cause in public she's this innocent, soft-spoken damsel. You'd immediately feel like rescuing her, and she got away with it for a very long time. How she switches from America's sweetheart to a full-on villain is something that needs to be studied. Like, Gypsy should consider a career in acting.
Hey everybody. So I am almost 4 months postpartum, and I think I'm experiencing postpartum hair loss.
Sweet, innocent. Right after that, she posts another video from Jazz Fest, deadass, threatening Ryan. She said, and I quote, "You punch me, I punch 10 times harder." Don't forget this is someone fresh out of prison and still on parole. And now she's making threats online. It looks like she doesn't take therapy seriously.
So you want me to take my shit down, right? Okay, how about you quit talking about me? It's been 3 fucking months since I texted you. And you're spiraling out of control. So just remember, just as much dirt as you have on me, I have on you, honey. You punch at me, I punch back 10 times harder. Go see a therapist.
And let's talk about Ryan for a second. He clearly wants to speak his truth. You can feel it. He has been holding back a lot, probably out of fear. Either he is scared of her or he still thinks that there's some hope for them. Either way, it's disturbing because Gypsy has made it clear that if he talks, she is ready to destroy him. Here is the shocking footage Ryan leaks where Gypsy tells him she has
Are you still marrying me? In any way? Breastfeed me in any way? I only use one card that I have over you.
But honestly, he needs to let it all out. She's only acting like this because she knows he has receipts and she's terrified. Gypsy has been love bombing, guilt tripping, threatening, doing whatever it takes to keep him quiet, but she doesn't care about him. She cares about control.
So just remember, just as much dirt as you have on me, I have on you, honey.
But that wasn't even the wild part. Gypsy then dropped a whole apology video talking directly to Ryan like it was some private love letter. She literally starts the video saying, "If you're not Ryan, don't watch this." Oh, so now she can't locate Ryan's DMs? Girl, Goes without saying, it felt like a performance. But what does she actually say? The performance starts with a deep, soul-bearing confession about reaching out 2 weeks postpartum, and like, let's not downplay that. Postpartum is a wild emotional roller coaster. Hormones everywhere, identity shift, new baby, zero sleep, and she's crying out for support. But here's where it gets sticky. She expected her ex-husband, who she allegedly cheated on, to drop everything and hold space for her emotional breakdown while she is raising another man's baby. It's the emotional contradiction for me. Like, you want to keep emotional access to your ex while publicly flexing your new romance? That is a hella manipulative power play.
So the new episode of Gypsy Rose's Life After Lockup just aired. This was a wild episode. Know previously from Gypsy's apology video that she talked about how she texted Ryan Anderson 2 weeks postpartum and sent Ryan pictures of Aurora because she and Ken weren't feeling as connected.
Gypsy then flips the script and says she didn't mean to hurt him. She even summons tears as she apologizes to Ryan for exposing his private matters on her show, and that she's sorry for not giving him grace while watching the show, the same show she knew would air all this drama. She talks about how Ryan has to relive it all. Meanwhile, she's the one who dropped their private text messages first, but the second that Ryan claps back with his own receipts, suddenly it's sacred and personal. Well, that's not really how this works.
So I understand that you're reacting to things in real time, just like I am. So I'm sorry for not giving you that grace.
Not gonna lie, this whole Ryan apology thing was nothing but a calculated PR strategy. Gypsy is not mad that Ryan hurt her. She's mad that he beat her at her own game.
Anyway, like I said, guys, I was going to talk on something that I saw that kind of bothered me, but you know what? Now that I think about it, who cares? Because you know something, I can't be bothered with that.
And the nerve, the absolute audacity to shame him for evolving on social media. I mean, just because Ryan wasn't Mr. TikTok when they were married doesn't mean he can't have a glow up. The man is thriving with almost 1 million followers and people are vibing with his content. Not because he's bitter, but because he's real and relatable. Gypsy even wants to gatekeep Ryan's growth just because it didn't happen on her timeline. And then she proceeds to remind him not to defend himself against her lies, saying that's not the man I married, as if he's supposed to stay frozen in the version that fits her narrative. Also, people who say 2 wrongs don't make a right simply want to benefit from the first wrong, and that's exactly what Gypsy is doing. She wants to peddle lies, expose Ryan and all, but doesn't want him to lift a finger.
You have your TikTok personality, and then you have the real Ryan Anderson. And those two are 2 completely different people. So when I see you on TikTok, acting the way you do, talking the way you do, doing your polls, that's not the man that I married. The man that I married went on Facebook once a month because I asked him to. You didn't do social media, you didn't care. It was never about the public back then.
And let's not ignore that little cry switch moment. Like, watching her literally decide to cry on camera was a wild performance. Not pain. Now that I think about it, she isn't just battling for Ryan's heart, but for the audience's sympathy after Ryan showed everyone who she really is.
And I'm just sorry.
Then she circles back with a weak apology, talking about how she's sorry and won't leak any more stuff unless he pushes her. That's not accountability, that is a veiled threat with a sad smile.
I know that in your heart you care about me. I know in your heart that you are a good person.
I know in your heart you care about me. I know you're a good person. That part, classic manipulation. It's also the fact that Gypsy still wants to own emotional real estate in Ryan's head. But if she really believed that he was good and cared, she would stop dragging him into this emotional mess for clicks. This apology was already whack, but nothing beats the part where she says, I'm sorry you fell in love with a piece of shit like me. She really thought she ate. And of course, the self-pity was just for Ryan to feel sorry for her and to stop exposing her. It's giving, I hurt you, but look how broken I am.
You fell in love with a piece of shit like me.
And then there's this teary, poetic, almost soap opera goodbye that she's giving, where she says, "Some people come into our lives for a season, others come for a season." Is this just me, or does this sound like a breakup from a married woman? Y'all, Gypsy was so unhinged, she even played some sort of public apology statement with Justin Bieber's "Sorry" playing in the background. Cringe. But if you really think about it, should we really be blaming Gypsy when she built an entire brand by playing the victim while having main character energy? People have excused her antics for the longest time and placed her on a pedestal ever since her release from prison. So basically all she knows is seeking people's sympathy. So just like that, Gypsy has us all watching a whole masterclass in emotional manipulation, wrapped in tears, tied with a bow, and posted for the whole internet to dissect. Oh, and by the way, how is Ken holding up? Because having your woman and mother of your kid constantly in her ex's life must be a lot to deal with. It's a whole lifetime drama, and we're just sitting here watching it unfold like it's episode 9 of a messy reality show. Because she deadass says, "Ken is my love, but this other man, Ryan, is her comfort and safe place." Girl, be so serious. That's the kind of emotional triangle that screams unfinished business. How are you calling your current man your love, but turning to somebody else for safety? That isn't love, it's confusion.
I always said Ken was my love, is my love. But you were my comfort. You were my safe place because I knew that you never would hurt me.
Whew, that was a lot to unpack because it's giving gaslighting at its best. Emotional blackmail and a sprinkle of weaponized vulnerability, and people called her out on her BS. This comment read, "Gypsy is going nuts because no matter how much gaslighting she does, even with a baby trap, she still can't get Ken to marry her." This comment read, "Biggest eye roll when she cried and said, 'I'm just sorry you fell in love with a piece of shit like me.'" I'm really glad she's making these and posting them. It's showing people how manipulative she is. She said she vented and told him everything. She's terrified he's gonna drop more texts that are really juicy. And finally, someone wrote, "Guys, this is what happens when you idolize random people imprisoned for murder." People are so done with Gypsy, y'all. And it looks like Gypsy's life gets wilder every single day. We're watching the unraveling of a story that started with sympathy and is slowly shifting into something way more sus. Like, what's really going on behind the scenes? Drop your thoughts in the comments because this is deep and messy. See y'all in the next video.